Hi there, VC. Steve Whitty here. Hope everyone's well. It has been a while, granted. I think it's been 8 weeks since I've done the last video. Yes, there's been various reasons. Time. I did try to do a video in May, which included needle drops and all that. I thought I was really proud how I got it all edited, and for some reason I could not upload it, and it did dishearten me a little bit. So I thought, you know what, need to get back to making videos, just straight bog standard videos. Since the non-essential shops have reopened in the UK, I've been quite lucky with some stuff I've purchased. So a mixture of that, eBay and Amazon. So it's going to be a series of videos, just really to catch up on myself a little bit. So, as I said, I hope it's all good for wherever you are and you've all been successful in your purchases. So let's start up with Miles Davis, Live Miles. This was released in 1981, and this is from the legendary Carnegie Hall concert, recorded at May 19th, 1961. The original album, Miles Davis at Carnegie Hall, was released in 1962. You've got on here Concerto de Aranjuez, Teo Walking a Thought of You. The band at that recording was Hank Mobley, Wynton Kelly, Paul Chambers, Jimmy Cobb, were featuring Gil Evans and his 21 Peak Orchestra. There is a little bit of jazz I'm showing in this first batch. I'm not a great jazz aficionado, I granted, but I won't turn it down if I see it, but I don't go out my way looking for it, so to speak. Really, because I'm not really sure where you start with jazz, but it's a really good album. I really enjoyed listening to it. This Janice Joplin farewell song. This is an upgrade. Because the cover is better neck and the record is in slightly better neck as well. Farewell Song was released in 1982. It's a collection of 9 previously unreleased recordings. It's featuring Big Brother Holding Company, Cosmic Blues Band and Phil Tilt Boogie Band. It's a mixture of live and outtakes, studio outtakes. The studio outtakes really based on Big Brother and the Holding Company. The live stuff tends to feature more the Filter Boogie Band and the Cosmic Blues Band. What can I say? You know, it hasn't been said about Janice Joplin, one of the great female voices of all time. Coming up to, it's just over 50 years since she passed away. Yes, and for an album of outtakes, it's not a bad album, actually. It's well worth seeking out. I thought it was really good, well recorded, and of course Janice Joplin sounds great. She always does sound great. So yes, well worth seeking out if you haven't got it. Moving slightly, changing tact, you got Orange Juice, Rip It Up, released in 1982. This was the band's second album. The title track, Rip It Up, gave the band their only top 10 hit in the UK. This is about as popular as they got. You've got here Edwyn Collins, this was sort of the main member. Yes, this is not a bad album at all. Good mixture of sort of like, I will say a little bit of like funk, new wave. It was it's very much a sort of post-punk. Though I don't think the band themselves really came after punk. They were originally recorded on the Postcard label, legendary label that came out of Scotland. I think this is a album well worth it. This is probably Orange Juice at their most commercially sounding album. Really good album. Next, Nina Simone at Newport. This was originally released in 1960. My copy here is a 1969 reissue on Marble Arch. The actual concert itself was recorded on June the 30th, 1960. So you've got on here Trouble in Mind, Porgy, Little Liza Jane, You'd Be So Nice to Come Home To, Flow Me That La, Nina's Blues, in the Evening by the Moonlight. Really is a outstanding album. It's my first Nina Simone on vinyl. I've got a couple of compilations sort of floating around somewhere, but yeah, I found this in the charity shop the first day the shop's open. I think I got quite lucky when I found that. So yeah, it's really good album. Nina Simone, one of the great female voices. Very unique person as well. Again, changing tact. West, Bruce and Lang. This was a sort of super group featuring Leslie West, Jack Bruce, Corky Lang, and it was sort of like a power blues trio. This album, Live and Kicking, was released in 1974. The band had already split up by then. They'd released 2 studio albums, but unfortunately, what sort of broke the band was drugs. Cocaine in New York, heroin in London, and I think it fractured the personalities. This is not a bad album. Side 1 opens with their version of the Stones' Play With Fire. Then you got The Doctor, and then side 2 it's Politician and Powerhouse Sod. So sort of paying heavily on the sort of Cream legacy a little bit. As I said, the drugs was a bit of a problem with the band, and I think there's a story Corky Lang was so ad hoc in drugs, he agreed to allow him to smuggle about £250,000 worth of heroin in 1973. Was a heck of a lot of money inside his drums, because his drums were like metal. It was undetectable. Yeah, I would be interested to listen to the studio albums, because this is not a bad live album. Not great, not stand out. I mean, it's not a patch on Cream, but good power trio live album. Changing tact again. This is Fuse 1, and the debut album Fuse 1. Now Fuse 1, it was a sort of like a loose group of jazz musicians who sort of collaborated. So you've got on here Stanley Clarke, Larry Coryell, Paulina da Costa, Joe Farrell, John McLaughlin, Ronnie Foster, Nagu, Lenny White and Tony Williams. And I think other jazz musicians appeared. The band made 2 albums and then sort of like disappeared. I actually thought this was a comp at the time, but it turns out it is actually it was a band. This is jazz fusion. It is what it is. It's not bad. It's not great, but it's okay. It's listenable. And I'll keep it in the collection. Next, Sparks, Pulling Rabbits Out of a Hat. This was originally released in 1984. What I've got here is the 2021 reissue. And it comes out in a nice yellow vinyl. Sparks are one of my favourite groups of all time. If I can find any Sparks, I'll always pick it up. It's just a wonderful record. This followed up was the follow-up to, where was the album? In Outer Space, which was quite popular in the States. This was sort of like a synth pop album, but this bombed. The lyrics on this album was slightly darker. Ron Mail, who wrote the lyrics, was writing a lot about his favourite subject, which was relationship, and it's a sort of dark twist on the lyrics. There's the band themselves. Absolutely wonderful album. Wonderful album of 80s synth pop. Really is well worth checking out. I think if it, they've got so many albums. I'm so looking forward to seeing the film that's going to come out next month, which I think is next week. Again, changing it slightly. Tonto's Expanding Headband. A duo made up of Malcolm Cecil and Robert Magleff, I think. Tonto is a synth. It's an acronym. The original New Timbral Orchestra. At the time, Tonto, when it was made, was the first and largest multi-timbral polyphonic analog synth. And it's what it is. It's synth music. Tracks on here: Cybernut, Jet Sex, Time Wise, Aurora, River Song, Tama. I think this is what's on the album. In fact, this is supposed to be a gatefold. I've only got half a cover, which probably explains why it only cost me a couple of quid on the Atlantic label. It was very influential album. They were very influential. May not sold much, but one person that really loved this album and was really heavily influenced was Stevie Wonder, and Tonto was going to appear on some of his classic 70s album. So in a sense, it's well worth checking out just for that alone. Next up, it's New Order, Low Life, 1985 release. Got this for a couple of quid, and that's because it was without the paper jacket. It was the band's third album. It's considered to be their strongest work, and it sort of completed that transformation from post-punk to dance rockers. It's the only album that features images of the band. There. And it is really a great album. I like it. I haven't got that much New Order on vinyl or CD, to be quite honest. But it really is a good album of its time. It is an 80s album, but it's a really good strong album by theirs. Really listenable. I listened to it a couple of times when I got it. Plays well, nice and clean. And then the final album is Best of Crusaders. Now this is a double album, and it came out in 1976. This features the Crusaders. This is an MCA reissue. It was originally released on ABC Blue Thumb label, and it contains tracks recorded between 1972 and 1976, when the band were signed to Blue Thumb. This was the point where they started to move away from pure jazz and more into jazz funk direction, and started to feature some guitar. I think Larry Carlton plays on this. As I said, I'm not a big aficionado of jazz. This used to belong to Dudley Library, I think. Yeah, Dudley Public Library. I'm not saying I'm not a big jazz fan, but I did enjoy this. This was quite a satisfying listen. And I've got Street Life, which is probably their best known work in the UK. So yeah, I was pleased to find that. It's a good little record there. So there you go, VC. I thought I'd quickly get a video in just to prove I'm still here, still around. I've got my second jab tomorrow, so all positive. I just think it's just taking it small steps. I'm going into the office on Thursday. I've got to collect my new staff pass, so I'm going to spend the day in the office. I'm going to head back to the gym, because I think I've put on a few pounds. As much as I've tried to be active, it's been difficult. It's only a small flat, live on my own. But hey ho. So VC, thank you for watching. I hope you like what I've shown. You're new to the channel and you like what you see, click on the subscribe button. Thumbs up, thumbs down, love the interaction. Whatever you get up to, VC, until next time, and it probably won't be as long for the next video. Take care of yourselves, keep spinning, more importantly, keep on smiling.